All right, I can see that our participants are getting in the webinar, so I'll go ahead and start by saying good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the webinar. Tonight, we are going to talk about how you can get the most out of your practice match experience, and we'll also hear from Dr. Hal Lewis about how he used Practice Match as a resident and ultimately met his current employer at a Practice Match career fair. His success story is one of my personal favorites, so I look forward to introducing you to him here in a few moments. Please note that microphones are going to be muted throughout this presentation, and we will be recording tonight's webinar. While everyone's logging in, I want to go ahead and introduce myself. I am Ashley Pichard. I'm the Program Relations Specialist here at PracticeMatch. Before I joined PracticeMatch, I was an in-house physician recruiter. And in that role, I really developed a true passion for helping physicians. I would help them in their journey from training to employment, doing CV reviews. And with Practice Match, I get to take that to the next level by working with residency program coordinators and fellowship program coordinators nationwide to offer career guidance and mentorship for their physicians, from medical students preparing to apply to residency all the way through helping physicians and fellows find their dream job. Hopefully, since you are here tonight, you already know about Practice Match and the different services that we offer, but I'm going to go ahead and take a moment to highlight a few of those. A few of the things, and excuse me, I am using notes because I have a lot to cover tonight. So if I look like I'm looking down at notes, I am busted. So yeah, I want to tell you about the resources my team and I have available to assist you to make sure you're getting the most out of your Practice Match experience. As I go through these items, I want you to know that our Q&A feature and our chat feature are live. We have Shelby Grummel with us tonight. She is our career fair manager, and she's going to help monitor that chat and answer any questions that you have about these things as I go along. So just to get started, first of all, we have a CV builder and free expert CV review. So if you are applying for jobs and you're not quite sure if that CV is ready to send to recruiters, or if you're looking to get into residency or fellowship programs, we have those tools available on our website. You can submit it so our experts can give you a free CV review and give you some tips on how to improve it. Another thing that we offer is scholarships. We have scholarships listed on our website. One that I want to be sure to highlight is our $2,000 Practice Match Empowered Resident Scholarship. So all you have to do to apply for that scholarship is submit your CV along with a 500-word essay talking about why you chose medicine, what drew you to it, and what you plan on doing to help your community after you graduate. So we actually just announced the winner of this scholarship, this last year's scholarship, and that went to Dr. Meredith Shaw. So congratulations, Dr. Shaw. She's an anesthesiology resident at LSU Health Sciences Center in New Orleans, and you can actually read her award-winning essay on our scholarship page. We also have a job board. So on this job board, you can see all of the job postings that are available. You can sort those by geographic location, visa status, if they offer student loan repayment, so many things. So I definitely recommend you check that out. You can apply for jobs on that job board, and you can also use that job board to get an idea of the job market in different locations. I've used that quite often when people are saying, are they hiring for this specialty in this location? That's a great way for me to go see, well, this location compared to that location, this is how many jobs are available. We have a compensation survey, so you can get a good idea of, what certain specialties are hiring at, get a good idea of what you're worth before you get into that contract negotiation phase, right? It's pretty important. Lots of articles related to physician life. And then another thing you can do is create a profile. And when you create a profile on the Practice Match website, you can fill in your preferences. That way we can let you know about the jobs that get posted. That way you're not always browsing that. Sometimes we're letting you know what is getting posted as well. We have an app. You can search through the job board and apply for jobs right there from the app. We have virtual career fairs, and hopefully a lot of you guys are joining us from the virtual career fair that we just hosted. But these virtual career fairs allow you to connect with employers that are hiring in your specialty. And some of our career fairs are set by a specific geographic region, and then some are nationwide. So you can decide if you want to attend the ones in a specific geographic area that you're wanting to work in, or if you want to learn about all of the opportunities that are out there, that's an option too. These virtual career fairs are really convenient because you can log in from your phone wherever you are to chat with recruiters, and it's completely free for you to attend. Another important thing to highlight is that if you are a resident or fellow, you can earn some additional revenue for attending them, and even more additional revenue by becoming a physician promoter and encouraging your colleagues to attend as well. You can also visit the PracticeMatch booth to get your free CV review, request an immigration law book, a practice path guidebook, or talk to our team about applying for the physician promoter program. So let's talk about the additional revenue for a moment, because everybody wants to make extra money. Those gift cards are a great incentive for attending our career fairs. So first, you get a $25 gift card for participating in each virtual career fair. Again, this is for residents and fellows. You do have to be enrolled in a program to be eligible for the gift cards. So you get a $25 gift card for participating in each virtual career fair. You get a $50 gift card per attendee if your program has the highest attendance. You get a $500 gift card if you are the physician that has the most colleagues attend on their behalf. And then if you join the physician promoter program, you get a $50 gift card per month for promoting each virtual career fair and attending at least one. You're still eligible for the $25 gift card for each additional fair that you attend. And you also get a $25 gift card for referring a promoter from another specialty. So all you have to do to join the physician promoter program is one, we only take one per specialty. But if you email Marie White at mwhite@practicematch.com, she's the one that handles that program, and we'll be sure to post the links in the chat. That way you have access to those. What else? Okay, so we have monthly webinars on various topics. Some of those topics are regarding training, interview preparation, contract negotiation, immigration assistance, loan repayment, and more. And, if you think your program would benefit from a specialized training on any of these topics or anything that is having to do with physician life after training, we can customize those for you as well. We really just want to be a resource for you for anything you guys need. So if you feel like, hey, we want to have a lunch and learn and we want to talk about contract negotiation, email me and we'll set that up. Happy to do that for your programs. In addition to that, we also have a network of experts in just about every physician facing industry. So if you have any sort of question about anything at all related to your job search or life after training, you can reach out to us. And if we aren't the experts on that, we definitely know some that we can get you in contact with. We're happy to provide mentorship and guidance on any of these things. So if you have any questions about any of the things I mentioned above, please feel free to email me at apashard@practicematch.com, and I'll send all of you attendees a follow-up email tomorrow with some helpful links on the things that we talked about. But what we're all really here for tonight is to talk to Dr. Hal Lewis and hear about how he used PracticeMatch through residency and ultimately met his employer at a PracticeMatch career fair. So let me tell you a little bit about Dr. Lewis. He received his Doctor of Medicine from University of Missouri Columbia School of Medicine. He did his dermatology residency at Washington University in St. Louis, and he's now a practicing dermatology at Southern Illinois Healthcare and an adjunct assistant professor at Southern Illinois University School of Medicine. Welcome, Dr. Lewis.
Hi, everyone.
Hello. Okay, so you and I have been friends for a few years now, and I know, I look forward to telling everyone how that came to be because it's truly one of my favorite stories. But before we dig into that, tell me a little bit about how you used PracticeMatch when you were in residency and sort of what your overall experience was.
Sure, absolutely. And thanks again, Ashley, for having me. Hi, everyone. I know I can't see you, but you can see me. My first experience with Practice Match actually was pre-COVID. So this was when there was in-person kind of career fairs, which, I started attending career fairs early on in my residency because I wanted exposure to jobs. I was from the Midwest, from St. Louis. I wanted to stay in the Midwest, but I wasn't exactly sure where I wanted to be. And I wanted a way to get as much exposure as possible to every type of employer, hospital systems, private practices, academic institutions. And I think a buddy of mine who was a little bit a year or two older in residency kind of brought me with him, I think, for one of the career fairs in person. And I had a great time actually. And so of course you get all the nice giveaways, like there's a Halloween one where everyone, got candy and people were dressed up for trick-or-treating. But you learn so much from these career fairs. And so, we went for about a year, we went to the in-person ones, which were wonderful. And then we continued to participate in some of the online ones, which again, were super efficient, super wonderful. And we learned, kind of like it's almost like speed dating, like rapid fire, learning about all different employers, what people have to offer, making great connections. And these, connections, for us led to a great friendship. So yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. So it sounds like you attended quite a few
I did.
career fairs. Sometimes physicians, I feel like, don't really know what to ask employers in these career fairs. What kind of questions would you recommend that they ask every recruiter or think about as they're going into these things?
So that's a great question. And you kind of you learn as you go along. It's like residency where you kind of learn on the job a little bit. So you kind of figure out what's important to you, what in residency, you kind of figure out how you want to practice. And then you use those principles from your training to figure out if this is the job for you. So for instance, for me, I'm a dermatologist, but I knew I didn't like cosmetics. I wasn't a cosmetic guy. I loved medical. I loved surgical dermatology, and I loved, the VA population, kind of blue collar, rural population. And I kind of framed that and figured out that's kind of what I wanted to do. So when I was talking to these recruiters, I figured out, oh, what's the patient population like there? What types of things do you expect the dermatologist to do? What kind of, what facilities you have, very important to learn about the facilities. Even, compensation stuff, that all comes later. So that's usually not discussed too much at these initial career fairs. But how the practice is set up, what's the work model? Is there a call schedule? Is there loan repayment? Um, but basically, I think the most important things are, what's the patient population like? What's the town like? What's the city like? Is that somewhere where you see yourself? Those are things that are really important. I mean, I can go on and on and on about, negotiation. I consider myself somewhat of a novice expert with contract negotiating and things like that. But
You're good.
this is preliminary to that. So this is before that. This is kind of framing, how you want to practice, and you don't figure that out immediately. You figure that out by talking to multiple people.
That's very good advice. So let's talk about how we became friends. So we've talked about how you met your recruiter at a career fair, and we also talked about how I was a recruiter once upon a time. But what we haven't shared is that I was actually your recruiter, and I met you at a Practice Match career fair and recruited you to come work for my local healthcare facility. And that was a really great experience. But hearing you talk about how you attended multiple career fairs, it makes me wonder, did you think that you would, leave the fair that night with a potential serious lead on a job, or were you just kind of exploring and it happened?
So initially I was exploring. What was crazy is, initially, I was like, oh, you get a gift card if you come, and they'll probably have some free pens and, notepads and things. And, but I'm looking for a job. I knew I didn't want to be really in academics, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do exactly. So, I went to look for a job. And then, I mean, the details behind this, we love telling the story, Ashley and I, but I mean, we went, my girlfriend then and my wife now, we went together, and I went to, go get some food. And Ashley literally comes from across the room and snags me and says, Dr. Lewis, I've been waiting for you. We need to talk. And I was like, who is this lady? And so she pulled me over to her booth, and she was the most enthusiastic and like interesting person. And it was just such a pleasure to talk to her. And these are the kind of people you see at these like fairs. that are just so passionate about what they do. And it's like refreshing, right? It's refreshing to talk to someone who loves what they do and who wants to sell you on their town, their place, their hospital. And you get like the most wonderful information. And so like that was like such a great experience for me. And it was like hard to top that. But like, there was a lot of great recruiters. I mean, not as good as Ashley, but there was like great, positive recruiters that, because if you think about it, like everyone, you know, I say this all the time to a lot of people that I mentor who are younger. It's like you spend your entire life up until residency trying to get to the next step, right? So you're interviewing, you're begging people, you're, for lack of a better term, begging people to get to the next step. You're applying for medical school, you're applying for residency. This is the first time in your life where people are begging for you. They want you, right? And so it's weird. It's weird for us, like, doctors, because like we've never been wanted before. We've always, wanted the next thing. So you have to take it in stride and like enjoy the process and stuff. And like PracticeMatch is the perfect avenue to enjoy that.
It really is. And I just want to talk about this a little bit too from the recruiter side. So, I knew that we had a dermatology opening and I got to see a sort of pre-list of who was going to be there and scope out who was in the area. And, we can go in and kind of look at who's in that area too. And we're looking for candidates as well. And so I knew going into that career fair that Dr. Lewis was going to be there. He had been invited. He had said he was going to go. I knew that he was a St. Louis guy. He was looking for Midwest opportunities. And, I knew I wanted to meet him and talk to him about it. And there were a couple other people that I wanted to meet too. But going into that, I knew he's who I'm seeking out. And when I did get to meet him and his girlfriend at the time, Catherine, who is now his wife, and she's wonderful. I was really excited to get to meet both of them and talk to them about the community. And, there really it was a match. Like everything that we talked about the community and the practice the whole way through. And please know, guys, we didn't leave the career fair that night knowing, okay, Dr. Lewis is going to be the next dermatologist. It's just the first conversation. So
Mhm.
let's talk a little bit about that process and how long it takes. Sometimes I see physicians starting 2 years early, starting to
Mhm.
look at these opportunities. And I feel like that is a great time to at least start looking and having those conversations and seeing what's out there. Because when you think about it, by the time we connected and felt like this is really a viable opportunity,
Mhm.
it was several months later by the time you had your
Sure,
phone
sure,
interview.
absolutely.
You came, you saw the facilities. How early would you tell physicians they should be attending career fairs and talking to recruiters and seeing what's going on out there?
Sure. And you're gonna think I'm crazy, but I would say day one. I like, and so what I did is I found like a mentor too in my residency program that was, a couple years older than me, and kind of picked things off them. But like I knew pretty early on in residency how I wanted to practice, what kind of practice I wanted. And it's never too early. Like, the more information, the more data, the better. And I feel like, I don't know, I hearing that you describe all the PracticeMatch things, I don't think I took advantage of the majority of the things that, or maybe I wasn't aware of them or they're new or something. But this is amazing. All the stuff that PracticeMatch offers. Like we're all doctors. We're all in medicine. We all know science. It's all data, right? So everything is about data. The more data you have, the better. The better decision you can make. Based on that data, right? So so you can compare compensation, you can compare communities, you can compare loan forgiveness, you can compare silly things like um, non-competes and things like that. So that's why like an organization like PracticeMatch is so cool, because it facilitates this opportunity to get as much data as possible, right? To meet as many people as possible. But I mean, going back to the original question, I'd start as early as possible. It's never too early to start, right? You can always have a conversation, and they may not be ready to sign someone early, but you establish a connection, you exchange email addresses, and you never know. Who you meet could be a good resource down the line. So I think it's totally important when you first start residency, start thinking about the next step.
I think that is great advice. And I've found talking to recruiters,
Mhm.
just just through my career working with physicians, it's not uncommon at all to sign a physician a year out from graduation,
Definitely.
sometimes even a little bit more. So that's very good advice. So, what do you know now that you wish you had known then, that you would advise our physicians on, making their priority list or taking advantage of someone reviewing their CV? What comes to
Mhm.
mind of things that you would advise them on?
Sure. So one more quick thing, I just going back. The other thing too about signing early, which I signed about a year, I signed like 15 months early or something like that from graduation, is like your last year is awesome, right? In residency, you're done, So I mean, yeah, you work hard still, but like it's cool to be done early. But going back to what Ashley you said, I think I mentioned this a little bit too, but like taking advantage of every resource, like this is like, from my understanding, this is a free resource to residents. Like, there's very few things that are free in life. And like, um, having someone to review your CV and like those things are awesome. And I wish I would have taken advantage of those, who knows, when, everything worked out, but like, those are like, in even like learning, with interview, learning how to interview and things to ask and like things that are important in negotiation, all those resources. And like, the cool thing about practice matches, they're so like fluid and they're so like welcoming and they're willing to like do whatever you guys need, which is like rare in life, right? Everyone's so strict and with the rules and everything, like, everyone at practice match, they want to make it what you want it, right? So they're it's so conducive to being, a resident in this program, is that you can make it what you want and you can get the most out of it and it's free. So, and who doesn't love free, right? No, but I was like, I wish I would have taken advantage of more of those things. I wasn't aware of them.
Well, awesome. There is one thing I know that you did take advantage of, and we didn't talk a whole lot about it yet. The physician promoter program. So you were a big promoter.
It was a huge
Um,
promoter, huge
you
promoter.
were. Tell us a little bit
I
about
loved it. I
that.
mean,
And
so one, it was awesome to like be so I also like, I also like handled some of the like drug rep dinners and stuff in residency. So I like to communicate and connect people, to some of the drug reps to other residents and things like that. And so one, yeah, it's great to have the Amazon gift cards and stuff, the promotion, but also like to help my colleagues out and get on. I'm like, hey, these career fairs are awesome. Like you guys should totally do this. And I got a ton of people to get involved in this stuff. And a lot of people at WashU who weren't dermatologists, and a lot of the dermatology program at WashU, they loved it. They loved getting involved. And like, even if like it's like a no lose situation, if you find no connections, you still get an Amazon gift card. And it's like, right, I mean, but like it, I mean, of course that's not the point, but still it's like, I love promoting them. I love, helping out the more junior residents and stuff. We really enjoyed that.
true, it's an excellent networking opportunity.
Yeah.
You're, making that extra money, which everybody, I'm sure, enjoys that. And, ultimately it worked out for you and me.
But even like
Think
networking in general too, and like I feel like my parents have told me this, and you hear this in business, you never know down the line who you met could make a difference. So you always want to make a good impression and as many connections as possible, because you never know. I mean, like, take Ashley and I. Like, I mean, Ashley and I, like, we still talk all the time, and like we like help each other out with like stuff. And like this whole like practice match thing was like, it was a whole like awesome new job for her. She was the recruiter at my institution now, which I love, obviously, but she got an awesome opportunity. And so, we're beyond happy for her.
Oh, thank you. And it's exciting for me to see it come full circle,
Yeah,
from how we met, because it was actually my first practice match career fair,
it's crazy. Yeah.
to now being here. And I absolutely love getting to mentor physicians, getting to find new services that they're going to, find value in, and the awesome team that I get to work with, because every single one of the people that are on my team are just as passionate about it. So it's been a great experience and I'm happy to be here. I do want to just check the chat feature here and see, does anyone have any questions for Dr. Lewis before we let him go?
It could be about literally anything. I'm happy. I can, it doesn't have to just be about practice match. So
Which is why I invited him to be
yeah,
the host on here, because I knew he would be awesome.
And I could talk forever too. I could literally talk forever. So you'll have to cut me off.
All right, I'm not seeing any
Yeah.
hands go up here, and Shelby, help me if I'm missing something. I'm checking both boxes. Well, it doesn't look like anyone has any questions, so I guess the big thing here is attend career fairs
Yeah,
and be a promoter and make the most of these opportunities and education resources that are available to you for free.
definitely.
Um,
It's a
anything
big deal, guys. Sorry, one last thing. It's like this is a big deal. This is a really, really cool thing. And you get a lot of advice and mentorship in residency from your, senior residents and from your attendings and things like that. But um, it's one side of the equation, right? The academics or that whatever program you're at is like that's the side they know for the most part. And so it's really important to get that broad exposure to all different kinds of practices and to get mentorship outside of medicine from kind of not the business aspect of it, but like the communication and the connection aspect of it. And that's where practice match fits in perfectly, and that's why I think it's so important. And um, I like cherish my experience so much. And it's like, I know everyone's busy too, but like, it's so efficient, especially now when everything's online. It's like, it's a joke. It's the most efficient thing ever. You don't waste time and, everyone's busy, but like, this is like the perfect thing, to take advantage of.
I couldn't agree more. And I love, once you've created your profile,
Mhm.
like it's all there. You can apply for
Perfect.
jobs, like click of a button, your application is in. Then you just have to be available for those phone calls and all of it's right there for you. You don't have to go to all the different websites and do all that research. It's just so convenient. So
Definitely.
I agree. Well, Dr. Lewis, thank you so much for your time and for sharing your experience with us. Thank all of you guys for attending as well. I'm going to make sure we post the link to our upcoming career fairs here in the chat if we haven't already. That way you can see what's coming up. And if you enjoyed this webinar, please mark your calendars for our upcoming webinars. So on February 8th, after our first Midwest Virtual Career Fair, our webinar will be Immigration Law. Why is my case taking so long? With Elisa Taub, our immigration attorney. And then on February 15th, after our South Virtual Career Fair, our webinar will be Student Loan Repayment and Forgiveness, Best Practices for Transitioning Physicians with Jason DiLorenzo. He is the founder of Doctors Without Quarters. So I'll send you a follow-up email tomorrow with more information on the upcoming events, and I look forward to seeing you then. Thank you all.
Thank you for having me. Have a good one. Have a good night, guys.
Good night.